Hello, this is Gerald Jovamas. It should not be too difficult actually to have certain words expressed as a formation process from letter to letter. As long as we realize, of course, what each letter is actually pointing at. And there are some letters which are really easy because they are about a formation process itself. So it is just within our immediate scope. So you have that one focus only, and if it's not immediately there visible where it is, what it is, okay, we have to look for it a little bit. So then of course we need a certain time process, and we focus upon that time process. And when that's also not very clear where things are going to what it is evolving to, or where it is, and why, or when, and so on. And then we have to estimate it even more. So then you have a 1, 2, 3 focus, which is actually like, okay, we know more or less what it is, but where is it and when does it happen? It is an application of a definition at a certain point where we have to go and see what we have at this moment. And that's the third kind of option. There are 3 sorts of orientations that we use for all the letters into the 3 times 3 times 3 kinds of positionings, orientations, estimations that are the representatives for the letters. I will use a very easy word. It is easy to recognize. We start with the letter L. L, where do we have that into our scheme? It's in the first degree, so in the foundation of that we only need one focus, and that one focus is a focus in space, and a focus in space is orientating itself onto a physical a definition that can be defined just as if it is a physical orientation. We see the thing, and with L it is also in the middle of that system. It is what is forming there very clearly. But it's on the you have there 3 degrees of orientations. You have the basis, you have the formation process, and you have the borders, the limits there. The L is clear what is forming there. It is clear that something is forming there. We're following it. We can follow it from our center, but it is not 100% forming itself regularly. It is a certain irregularity, and it's not forming itself to all directions at once. No, it's forming itself into a certain position and so on, somewhere into a certain region. It's not 100% growth, it is a growth. So that's the L, which is like a growing process that we can follow from our center point of vision. But of course, also, it's not 100%. It's like you have that with words with L. It is a formation, but it's not 100% of what our maximum that we can make from it. It's just a part is forming itself. We can see things that are forming and other things that are not forming. And when we go and focus even better from what is actually forming itself, we notice what is changing also, and then we go to the next level. We go and focus upon what is changing when something is forming itself, and what are the changes actually that are forming themselves. That's a representation of the letter E that needs a time process and needs an attention to these changes. It notices the changes. It notices what is changed, what is different, and so on. That's the E. This letter is pronounced as E. It's written as E plus A as one letter. So it's not just I notice what is changing and what changed. It's also the whole process. In A, it's a combination. A is I follow what is really going on, what is going into a continuation. And it is, as when you follow the full perspective of L, it is what is forming and also what is not forming. So what is, according to what I expect, and also to what I do not expect. So the totality. So I'm focused upon what is really different, When I notice things that are extra, with an extra attention to what is different, it also notices, of course, not just what is systematically easily found what is forming, but also the things that are not forming. So we're going to go deeper into the form and see the whole process of what is forming. So what is forming is easy to form, but what is not forming, you also want to understand. And that's also an attention that goes towards it. And by the sound E, it is especially is a focus upon that which is different. And that's about almost that range, as if it's with a large E, as if this door opens, that it sees like, yeah, what is actually different? What are the differences? What is new actually? Because what is forming, what is according to the expectations, that's easy, that's the positive thing, that's our expectation of what we see, what is forming, and that is really forming. But what is now also not so much forming, what is also not so much according to the expectations, is a bit more looked upon. E is about that feedback, so it is also a feedback of attention, an attention to what is not going well, so that we can also go and make it fit better and so on. That's that kind of attention that you go and give to that, and that is given also extra attention, that E. But because of the K in the end, it's even more an attention to what is different and what is not known, or what is that kind of thing, and what is actually breaking the rule of all this. K is a breaking point which says no, what is not fitting, what is actually also what am I losing here, what is not going along with what I expect, or what is less. So you have that frame of E which focuses also a little bit more upon that breaking point which is not progressing into what I think is an expectation. When I have this structure and I also add the formation process itself to it and make it even more clear, it will also be clear how much this will fit to leak. But first I define here also the E is at high, is at the same time that highlight, and the K is at breaking point. It will be within that thing that I can notice, and that thing that will be broken apart, that will be different, of course, that breaking point of progress once again. But first let's go, that was a bit too quickly, let's go to that formation process and define it a little bit better, that I can see what I am noticing in each letter. The letter L, the letter L, if you would design it, you would design it as well as the L. As the tongue, you express it with the tongue. It are the things that are expressing itself, that are growing irregularly in the way how much it can do that. It is becoming more. So that's the thing on it. So because it's also about what is not going along, which is not according to expectation, and you have this breaking point, and it is giving more attention. You have the rest material actually which is breaking apart, which is also during a certain time. So you can have this L in the beginning is that expectation, and this L in the end that is left over is that broken apart part. I exaggerated it with the length, but the E, leak, I have that long and stretched attention, and also so it gives a bit more attention, that it is more about just one little thing. It is really taking a certain time. There is a lot going on, that it is actually leaking out of my process of what I have as expectations. In L, here it is breaking apart and it is losing itself a little bit. That's how you can understand it. Think about it, write it down a bit differently, design it a little bit differently. but with the sounds alone, and you know what what is the meaning of these sounds, you also come to the same thing, even if you would design it differently. The designs are of course here a little bit like a helping tool to make understand what is actually already known, because we know we understand also the word leak itself makes it easy, and I just made the match which is also present in the letters and in the significance that we give to these things as well. This is not as a proof at all, but it's more an association of how we can associate from letter to letter the same thing that we already know. Okay, thanks again for watching. Bye.